An elderly American couple was visiting Spain to celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary. After a long day of sightseeing, they stopped at a charming little restaurant in Madrid. As the husband sipped his sangria, he noticed a sizzling platter being served to the table next to them. It looked absolutely delicious, and the aroma was irresistible. He waved the waiter over and asked, "Excuse me, what is that wonderful dish?" The waiter smiled and replied, "Ah, senor, you have excellent taste. Those are bull's testicles from this morning's bullfight, a true Spanish delicacy." The wife nearly choked on her sangria. The husband hesitated for a moment, then grinned and said, "Well, we're on vacation. Let's try it." The waiter apologized. "I'm very sorry, senor, but there's only one serving each day because there's only one bullfight every morning. If you come back tomorrow and order early, I'll be sure to save it for you." The next morning, the husband returned to the restaurant and placed his order. That evening, the special dish was served to the couple. After a few bites, the husband looked puzzled. He called the waiter over and said, "These are delicious, but they're much smaller than the ones we saw yesterday." The waiter gave a polite shrug and said, "Si, senor, sometimes the bull wins." A manager at a garden center overheard one of his employees speaking to a customer. "Sorry," the worker said, "we haven't had any in stock for weeks, and honestly, I've no idea when we'll get more." After the customer walked away, the manager stormed over. "Never tell a customer we can't get something," he snapped. "If we don't have it, we order it in. That's how business works." "Got it." The employee nodded. Trying to calm down, the manager asked, "So then, what exactly was the customer looking for?" The worker replied, "Rain." During one of her daily classes, a teacher trying to teach good manners asked her students the following question. "Michael, if you were on a date having dinner with a nice young lady, how would you tell her that you have to go to the bathroom?" Michael said, "Just a minute, I have to go pee." The teacher responded by saying, "That would be rude and impolite. What about you, Sherman? How would you say it?" Sherman said, "I am sorry, but I really need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back." That's better, but it's still not very nice to say the word bathroom at the dinner table. And you, little Johnny, can you use your brain for once and show us your good manners? Johnny said, "I would say, darling, may I please be excused for a moment? I have to shake hands with a very dear friend of mine, whom I hope to introduce to you after dinner." The teacher fainted. A vampire bat returns to the cave with his face, mouth, and teeth all covered in blood. All the other bats were now excited from seeing his face and, after a futile night's feeding, asked where he got it all from. "Follow me," he says, and out they fly over the hills, across the river, and into the dreaded dark forest. "See that tree over there?" he says. "Yes, yes," came the excited replies. "Well, I f***ing didn't." A bloke walked into the pub accompanied by an emu and a cat. They all sat at the bar, and the bloke ordered and paid for 3 beers. They drank the beers, and the bloke ordered 3 more. This time the emu paid, but when the next round came up the bloke had to shout again because the cat wouldn't. And so it went for a while, with the bloke and the emu taking turns to shout for 3 beers while the cat never paid a penny. Eventually, the barman wandered over and spoke to the bloke. "I've never seen a bloke drinking with an emu and a cat before," he said. "I've noticed that you and the emu are doing all the buying. What's the story?" "Well," the bloke explained, "I was down at the beach one day when I found an old bottle half buried in the sand. I dug it up, uncorked it, and out popped a genie. He'd been trapped in the bottle for 1,000 years, and he was so pleased to be released, he granted me a wish. I asked for a long-legged bird with a tight pussy, and I've been stuck with these 2 bastards ever since." A man was working in the garden, and his wife was about to take a shower. He realized that he couldn't find a rake and yelled up to his wife, "Where is the rake?" She couldn't hear, and she shouted back, "What?" He pointed to his eye, and then pointed to his knee and made a raking motion. His wife wasn't sure and said, "What?" He repeated the gestures. "I need the rake." His wife replied that she understands and signals back. She first points to her eye, next she points to her left breast, Then she points to her backside and finally to her crotch. Well, there's no way in hell he could even come close to that one. Exasperated, he went upstairs and asked her, "What the hell was that?" She replies, "I left it behind the bush." For 7 days straight, a husband greeted his wife each morning with the exact same cheerful phrase, "Today is a fine day." By the end of the week, the wife had reached her breaking point. The repetition was driving her absolutely insane. She slammed her coffee mug down on the table and demanded, "That is it. You have been saying today is a fine day every single morning for a week. I am completely fed up with it. What on earth is going on?" The husband looked at her with a calm, patient smile and replied, "Well, dear, during our argument last Sunday, you explicitly told me, 'I will leave you one fine day.' I've just been eagerly waiting and reminding you that any day now would be perfect." Two nuns were shopping at a 7-Eleven store. As they passed by the beer cooler, one nun said to the other, "Wouldn't a nice cool beer or two taste wonderful on a hot summer evening?" The second nun answered, "Indeed it would, sister, but I would not feel comfortable buying beer since I am certain it would cause a scene at the checkout stand." "I can handle that without a problem," the other nun replied, and she picked up a six-pack and headed for the checkout. The cashier had a surprised look on his face when the two nuns arrived with a six-pack of beer. "We use beer for washing our hair," the nun said. "Back at our nunnery, we call it Catholic shampoo." Without blinking an eye, the cashier reached under the counter, pulled out a package of pretzel sticks, and placed them in the bag with the beer. He then looked the nun straight in the eye, smiled, and said, "The curlers are on the house." A priest and a nun were lost in a blizzard. After a while, they came upon a small cabin. Being exhausted, they prepared to fall asleep. There was a pile of blankets and a sleeping bag on the floor, but only one bed. As a gentleman, the priest said, "Sister, you sleep on the bed. I'll sleep on the floor in the sleeping bag." The moment he got zipped up in the bag and was slowly falling asleep, the nun said, "Father, I'm cold." He opened the sleeping bag, got up, took a blanket, and put it on her. Once again, he climbed back into the sleeping bag, zipped it up, and began to fall asleep when the nun said again, "Father, I am still very cold." He unzipped the bag, got up again, put another blanket on her, and got back into the sleeping bag once again. Just as his eyes closed, she said, "Father, I'm so cold." This time he stood there and winked at the woman and smiled. Then he said, "Sister, I have an idea. We are here in the wilderness where no one will ever know what happened. Let's pretend we're married." The nun purred, "That's fine with me." To which the priest yelled out, "Okay, so get up and get your own stupid blanket." Oh, the beauty of marriage.